today. We have a very special webinar about negotiation skills for BPW leaders. Our speakers, Esther Eomois. She is a president of BPW Estonia, chair of management at Estonian Business School, speaker, trainer, executive coach, entrepreneur, and at BPW Estonia, she is leading women leadership project to empower new female entrepreneurs sponsored by Coca-Cola Foundation. Anu Viks is the immediate past president of BPW Estonia. She, along with Ester, is a member of the BPW International Task Force on Leadership and Lifelong Learning, and has given leadership trainings in many countries around the world. At the recent BPW Europe Regional Conference in Galway, Ireland, Anu presented a workshop on negotiation skills, the largest one with more than 100 attendees. Thank you very much for our extraordinary speakers. The floor is yours.
Hello to everyone. We are talking today about 7 skills to successful negotiations for BPW leaders and members. Me and Anu, we have been negotiating many years, more than 20 years of practice, and we are happy to share our knowledge.
Yes.
Anu, why we need negotiation skills?
Negotiation skills are needed in everyday life, starting with your own family. You have to negotiate with your husband that who will take the child to the daycare, then every day at your workplace, and also, of course, while negotiating better conditions in your business or better agreements in your business, but also on BPW level.
Exactly. In BPW level, you can negotiate for a new membership fees. You can negotiate about the venue for a special event. You can negotiate about better ideas. And so there is a lot of things we would like to share with you. We have different situations we need, but what kind of skills we need, we are talking today. But first of all, what level, when we talk about BPW negotiations, take place?
On BPW level, negotiations take place on different occasions. For example, members level, when you as the president of your national club or your local club meet new potential members, then of course you have to introduce the organization, then you have to ask what are their interests, and then negotiate in a simple way so that the new person will become the member. Then, of course, on the club levels with different members and organizing different venues. Then federation level, it is already a higher level, because being the federation president, you have to negotiate with other organizations. You have to negotiate with on your government level and on different NGO levels, for example, to get better outcome from different campaigns, equal pay day, for example, to be more visible in your society. So on federation level, the negotiations are actually very, very important. And then, of course, on regional level and international level.
Yes, there is a lot of different ways, and there are many things that are key important for negotiations. What we do with BPW, first of all, we make an impact. We try to influence different partners. It can be the governments, local municipalities, it can be other partners, some companies. We can do the lobbying. Like Anu said, we have the equal pay campaign. We are fostering for the better future. We also create partnerships with other organizations. Just for example, in Estonia, we have a long-term partnership with Coca-Cola Foundation to establish new female entrepreneurs and new companies. We negotiate to initiate projects. Best projects come out in cooperation. We negotiate to meet stakeholders inside the country as well international level. We need to obtain contracts, good contracts for venues, for facilities, for audience or anything else. And we negotiate to organize things. As well, like Anu said, we do the meetings with members and negotiate basically every day. So we get into the point that there are different skills. We need a skill set to be a good negotiator. We did a lot of reading, a lot of literature. We did look into our own practice, and we came out with 7 key skills to be mastered to be a good negotiator. And we are sharing them with you in the coming minutes. So what is the first skill, Anu?
Today we are presenting 7 skills, but first and most important skill is the preparation. Because when you prepare well, it is already almost 90% result that your negotiations will be successful. So prepare yourself, know your stuff, get your data. For example, you have to prepare yourself knowing with whom are you going to negotiate. Who are these people whom you are going to negotiate? And before you go to negotiations, always prepare the most basic data. For example, let's say how many people are working in this company, or what is their annual income, or what are their biggest challenges and biggest motivation for their work. And also, when you go to the negotiations, you always prepare positive emotions, because when you start the negotiations with positive emotions, it is always better for the result. You will get the better result. So visualize yourself during the negotiations. Before you go there, close your eyes and visualize how the negotiations will go. And it will help you also to prepare. And you can always, in front of the mirror, look at yourself and play the different roles. So you will get the better result. And of course, very important, push yourself beyond your comfort zone.
Yes, Anu, I have a question concerning that. How can you push yourself beyond your comfort zone?
Don't be afraid. That's most important. Because when you are afraid to ask actually for what you are looking, then you will not get it.
Yes, and another thing I would say, you have to expose yourself to new situations. And if you are afraid of negotiating, then go traveling. Negotiate first at market, negotiate for a better price, negotiate for a better hotel room. So try to expose yourself to new situations, and learning by doing is one of the things that helps in negotiating.
So Esther, what is the next key skill in negotiations?
Well, definitely when we are preparing, as you have the preparing here, there are different things you have to think about in advance. And I would say that I would minimum double the time I am going for the negotiation. So let's say I plan for negotiating 1 hour, then I would prepare 2 hours. But of course, it depends what you do, but that's basically my recipe for preparation. Secondly, I would say that you really have to, you see the questions here, what is your goal? What you need to know, what do you know about your partner? Nowadays, it's very easy to Google. You can Google your partner in negotiations. So, and definitely you have to set the goal. What can you do to reach the goal? But like Janu said, then the number one skill is asking questions. Asking questions, well, basically that's one of the skills that we also have to practice. So first of all, I would definitely start the negotiating with open questions. Open questions are type of questions that you can start and facilitate discussions. Of course, once you are well prepared, you know what kind of questions to ask. Then listen actively to the answers. What does this mean? It basically means that negotiating is a dialogue. It's not a monologue. So both sides should contribute to the conversation, to this situation. And it means that even if the other side is kind of silent or resistant, I have to know how to ask the questions to facilitate and open the discussion. Also, I would say that don't be afraid, like Anu said, being rejected. But will you be well prepared? For example, if you have a patna with a B, patna, this is best alternative to negotiated agreement. With simple words, if you have a plan B prepared, then you are not afraid of plan A, and your A will be successful.
So, and the third important skill is communication, because communication actually is the key to everything. And what kind of communication do we need during the negotiations? And as Esther already said, negotiations, it is a dialogue, not a monologue. So you have to listen to the other side also. And of course, you have to express yourself clearly. And why? Because when you express yourself clearly, it will be easier for the other side to understand you. And also for the other side also to express themselves clearly. And if you feel that you did not get the full understanding of their objectives, you can always ask. But the communication is not only about asking, it is also about listening. And actually most effective negotiators know how to listen, because often people with their body language and some of the expressions, they already indicate what are their actions, what results do they want to get from these negotiations, and how do they feel that these negotiations are going. So listen, listen, and listen, and then express yourself.
Active listening, skill number 3. Active listening is about respect. It is about respecting the party you are in negotiating. The negotiations take place when each side respects the other and their point of view and enter into discussion positively. The biggest mistake you can do during negotiations is interrupting all the time. And even if you know what is going to happen, be patient and listen.
And next skill is actually patience. What does it mean, be patient? And it means that be patient because negotiations are not always about winning. Negotiations are to gain the result that satisfies both parties. And you can even step a bit back to get the result. No, maybe a little less of the result you expected, but actually because the other side always also has to come out of the negotiations feeling that they gained the result they wanted, because in the future it will get you a better base to continue with the negotiations. So prepare yourself in the way that you can set yourself steps that, for example, 3 steps, and if you get the result for the 2 steps, you are already doing okay. The 3rd step you can negotiate later. So patience is also keeping your emotions under control. Don't show your emotions during the negotiation process. You can just sit calmly and smile and listen to the other party. And if even the negotiations are not going in the way you would like them to go, then always stay positive, because often the other side is testing you. So just to be calm, keep your emotions under control, and always be positive and hope for the best results from the negotiations.
Anu, are you a patient person?
Esther, I think I am.
Yes, I think so too. We have worked together in BPW for many years, and I always envy Anu being very patient, and it's a strong side of yours. So how do you train patience?
How do you train patience? To give an honest answer,
yes,
I think you are born with it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you can always train your temper, and just don't let the flame go up at once. Say 1, 2, 3, and then continue.
Exactly. I would also say that breathing in, breathing out, and counting into 3 would definitely help.
Yes.
I was listening very carefully when Anu talked about keeping emotions under control. Yes, I think she's right. At the same time, it depends on the type of emotions. And I would say that showing emotions, showing joy or disappointment sometimes is okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
Because we are all human beings, and it is important to show. If you really going to look for a great partner in BPW level, and this partner says no at the last moment, so I think we are right to show the disappointment and say that we are moving on for a new partner. So it's this patience is a very important issue, but it doesn't mean that we, how to say, in BPW we have to be in charge of negotiating, and maybe sometimes showing how we feel about these things are important. But I agree in general with you, Anu.
And Esther, I always admire your negotiation skills, because Esther is very good in negotiating, and she always knows what button to push to get the best results.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Basically, it's very important to know the one who you are negotiating as well. There must be a win-win situation. Yes, so if you are setting a project for BPW on your club level, federation level, European level, international level, there must be a win-win situation. There must be something that inspires all the partners. Most of them are not-for-profit projects, so you need to have an inspiring element, and that's definitely also part of preparation. Like we said, you need to know your partner, but you should also know what does inspire this partner to be part of BPW. So that's very important. So the next skill, and this next skill is emotional intelligence. Well, it's a big topic. It's a big topic. If you are interested, dear listeners, more about it, please search for this keyword, emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman and some other authors has been writing a lot about it. But what is this emotional intelligence about? There are different things, different milestones or different stones in it. First of all, everything starts with self-awareness and self-regulation. Before you start leading other people or leading negotiations, be aware how you feel about things, what kind of feelings you feel. So as well, try to analyze after negotiating, try to analyze after difficult conversations, how you felt about it, how you expressed yourself, and then learn about it. Second emotional skill is about social skill, like Anu said, inspiring people, motivating people, empathy, understanding others. But first of all, please note, you have to start with self-awareness, how you feel about it. And in negotiating, it is very important. In BPW, we have a lot of people with diverse backgrounds, diverse age groups, everything.
Diverse interests.
Yes, diverse interests. So being a master of emotional intelligence is an important important thing for every member, but most of all also for the leadership position people. Another skill to present.
Another skill is problem solving. And what do we mean under the problem solving? Here we name it the problem, but actually it is finding solutions. And when during the negotiations, for example, the negotiations that go exactly the way you would like them to go, then always have in the process of preparing, always already think about several possibilities. So when the problem arises that it is not going exactly the way you expected, then you can always present the second or the third solution. So focus on solutions, and also look at the body language of the other party, and then you will understand at once, are these solutions welcomed or not, and you can always find quickly a new one. And of course, you must state clearly your intentions and your goals, because if you don't state clearly your intentions and what outcome you would like to have, it can lead to misunderstanding, because as Esther already said, people are very different and everyone has their own mission and own understanding and own vision of the outcome of this negotiation. So state your intentions clearly, and what is most important, prepare your exit strategy. This one has to be prepared already in advance, that with which exit strategy you come out from the negotiations, and always leave something for the other party also, because negotiations are all not only about winning, but these are also about leaving positive emotions and positive outcome for both sides, because it will give you the way in the future to continue with the negotiations and work with these people. And it is important because you never know in which situations you will meet them again.
Yes, definitely. I agree with Anu here. Then negotiations is very often a compromise. It is a win-win situation when both sides a little bit have to lose and more to win. And definitely research says that once we have a plan A ready and we have a plan B in our head, then we are more successful in plan A to succeed. And there is another research that says that we should always keep, especially when we talk about not-for-profit organizations, open door policy. Like Anu said, you always may meet these people again. There is always a chance you have a new negotiation, so that's good. And here you can see this PATNA. This is a term that's called Best Alternative Traded Negotiated Agreement. So it means plan B. So think about these different plans and you will be more successful. So
Yeah.
this is it. This is the 7 skills.
Most important skills. And what I would like to give you, let's say, a tip that when you start the negotiations, then always try to get the first answer, yes. For example, when you step in the room, you can always say, oh, what a beautiful weather today. And the other party will say, oh, yes. And actually, if you get already 3 yes, then more likely you will get the result that you want, because the other party will, they already will say yes, yes, yes.
Yes, that's true. Yes, yes, yes. But maybe one thing I would like to say as a tip, that negotiations, it is about future, not is about past. So it's about future solutions. It means that when we are entering a room, we should leave behind the things that have happened, maybe some negative emotions or facts. So we are negotiating for the future solutions.
Yes.
For conclusions, how to succeed, Anu, we have some good ideas. That was the 4 principles of the Harvard concept. Do you want to comment on that?
Yes, in Harvard University, the research has been made on negotiations, and the first principle is that treat people and problems separately.
What does it mean?
It means that if you go to negotiations, then as we talked before, patience. Then even if you meet there people whom you usually are not in very good relations, then forget it. Because as Esther said, these are the negotiations for future. And forget the relations and concentrate on getting the best results. And as we already said, concentrate on understanding the interests and needs of the other party also. Don't only have in your head that I must win, I must gain this point, I must get this result, but concentrate on the other party's needs also, because it will actually, in considering future, give you a better result. And develop various possibilities, solution possibilities. This is the exit strategy, BUTNA. So always have plan A and also plan B, and why not plan C? And the result, of course, should be reached by objective and fair criteria. So be open, always stay positive, give your very argumented let's say, argumented objectives, and listen to the others. And also, if something is unclear to the other side, then explain it, because not everyone is able to understand your thoughts at once. So be ready to explain.
Exactly, be ready to explain, and the patience is not only about emotional intelligence, it's also patient in terms of diversity. In BPW level, we communicate with people of different nationalities, in different languages, different time zones. Sometimes we do the negotiations over Skype or some other electronic means. We may do the negotiations over email or discuss some things. So having patience and understanding how people take things and how they do in business. I haven't done it BPW, I've been doing business in Russia, I've been doing business in Japan. Totally different way of negotiating. But I would say that the main skills we discussed today are the same.
Yeah.
And yes, this is the key. We discussed that several times, that negotiations, the open door policy, it's about getting the best solution, having an inspiring objective for partners involved. So, and we are discussing and negotiating most of the time for the future, for the better future. There is always a discussion about that how good the female negotiators are. Female negotiators are excellent.
Excellent.
We need confidence in ourselves. And if we read what Madeleine Albright has said, yes, it has been taken time to develop a voice, but now I have it. And I'm not going to be silent. I'm using it.
Yes.
So I think that's about the time to wish everybody a successful negotiations and having self-confidence and having the better future for our organizations.
Yes. And from my side, prepare well, rehearse, always think about the 3 yes, and always think about plan A, plan B, and plan C. And don't forget, you have your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
We want to thank Anu and Esther for speaking to us today in an area that is so clearly their expertise, that of negotiation skills, and in sharing their knowledge with all of us. We heard about strategies and tips and hints, and also the actual steps to take in negotiation, as well as making it relevant to BPW in the levels of our operation, as well as the areas in which we may need to negotiate. So we ask that you all consider that and boost your own negotiation skills as leaders, starting with this video. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you again soon.